Well, that's interesting. You mentioned Skip Holtz, and he played under you. And I want to introduce they're in the chat room right now. We have two of your former players, All-American defensive back Jeff Burris, and starting tight end of the 1993 team, Oscar McBride. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Oh, thank you, Steve. I appreciate you having me on. Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Let me say this on both these young people. I'm very proud of both of them, both class young men. Jeff Burris, recruited him out of Little Rock. He played for a friend of mine many years ago. He played down there at Little Rock, and I remember his grandmother. I remember being in his house. He came there. He was a great offensive football player, but he also was a great defensive back. We moved to defensive back the week we played Tennessee when he was a freshman, and we started him in the defensive secondary against Tennessee. In Tennessee, we won the football game. He never looked back, but he was so good. We ran the T formation on the goal line, and he was one of our running backs. He did both. As a matter of fact, when we played Florida State in '93, Florida State had not given up a rushing touchdown, as I recall, the entire year. This is the 10th game. Jeff Burris scored 3 touchdowns in 3 attempts running the football. But went on to play great in the pros, and Oscar McBride just was still in the tradition of great tight ends we had that went on playing the pros. It started, we had a guy named Frank Jacobs that we recruited, Andy Heck, then Frank Jacobs. Frank hurt his leg at Air Force, decided to go the baseball route. He helped recruit Derek Brown, who started for us a freshman. Derek Brown recruited Irv Smith. Irv Smith recruited Oscar McBride. Oscar McBride recruited Pete Levy. And so even though we didn't throw the tight ends an awful lot, they all had a tradition of coming to Notre Dame, being productive, and going on and playing in the pros. But more importantly, we're talking to 2 great young men here.
Coach, thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Coach.
It was funny, Coach. I had the opportunity to sit with Jeff a few months ago, back in, when was it, Jeff? Was it November?
In November,
in Indianapolis. And we both coach high school football now on top of the other things we do. And it's funny, we were sharing some stories, and the more we coach, the more we sound like you.
Well, I want to tell you, I used to bitch about Woody Hayes all the time. I became head coach. I coach just like him. I'm flattered and honored about that. But I think coaches like raising children. You know, you have to have standards for them. You want to make sure you criticize the performance. You don't want to criticize the performer. You have an obligation to make sure they have a chance to be successful, and the only way you can do that is to get them out of their comfort zone, because most players don't realize how much talent they have, how good they can be, and it's a maturing process. But I absolutely love coaching because, you know, you can go make a lot of money, but when you die, that ends. But when you coach, you have a chance to be significant. The difference is, when you're significant is when you help other people be successful, and that lasts many a lifetimes after you're gone.
Well, Coach, I want to intercede and say something. I want to thank you for that, because I listened to a lot what you were saying before, but in my life you have been that example. And like Oscar just said, I'm actually coaching at UMass now. And one of your former coaches, Phil Almation, we talk about you every single day, and every single day. And I just recollect all the times, and I have a lot of your things that I use. Like Oscar just said, we do a lot of things that if I can become just a small percentage, 0.5% of what you were as a coach and as a man, I think I'm doing something in my life. So I appreciate you for everything.
Well, I tell you what, Jeff, I know you went to UMass. I'm proud of you. They're making the step up to the national championship division. You'll be playing all the very best and probably end up in the Big East, I imagine, in the near future. But let me say this, Ed. When I put together a book, what I call the Bible, and it has everything I believe in football and schedule, I'll be happy to send you a copy of that. In addition to that, I made a list for this coaching clinic I'm doing of all the fundamentals I think that are very important at each position. And you drop me a line, I'll be happy to send you both of them.
Okay.
But all you have to do, coaching is simple, is do 3 things. number one, ask your players to do the right thing. This is nonsense about allowing them to do what they want to do when it's not the right thing. Just do the right. Number two, don't ever accept anything less than the best they're capable of doing because you're cheating them. And number three is make sure they care about other people. When they walk in the room, their attitude can't be, hey, here I am, look at me, it's all about me. Their attitude has to be, hey, there you are, how can I help you, what can I do? And the team is far more superior than the individual.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much for that. I will be shooting you a line shortly afterwards.
I do whatever I can to help you. Coaching's a great profession, and I'm looking forward to going up and speaking to the coaches at Alabama. When Nick Saban called me, I said, good Lord, you won the national championship. They don't want to listen to the old hands bid, but he said, yeah, so I'm going to go up there.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, I know I had one more guy who had a couple of questions for you while we had the guys on here. Jeff and Oscar, I know you guys are really close to Kevin Dugan with Play Like a Champion Uganda. Kevin, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Congratulations, Kevin. I've seen the pictures of the work you've done, Play Like a Champion today in Uganda, and congratulations.
Thanks, Coach. You know, I don't really have so many questions other than I have a couple statements on, like, the power and the impact that your philosophy has really had. And, you know, I've coached lacrosse for 10 years, and I'm now in management in youth and community programs in the athletic department here at Notre Dame. But, you know, there's a saying that Oscar and I talked about quite a bit on a recent trip we made to Uganda, and that's that, you know, businessmen, when they die, they leave behind money. Coaches, when they die, they leave behind pieces of their soul in every single one of their players. And Oscar and Jeff and I have been just talking a lot about, you know, the opportunities that we have to make our lives count through coaching and through teaching, mentoring, and impacting young people. And I want to tell you just a really quick story right now. And, this was about 2 years ago. Oscar and I are in the middle of a rural Ugandan village, and we're giving a lesson to literally like 1,500 people that are all huddled around this open field outside of this church in rural Africa, and they have this little homemade Play Like a Champion Today sign, and Oscar lifts it up and he says, I want to tell you something. I want to tell you about what this means, and this means that every day you have an obligation when you wake up to realize the fullest God-given potential that you have and to be the absolute best you can be at whatever it is that you're doing. And when Oscar kind of started to talk about that, he talked about you and this idea of Play Like a Champion. Do you care about me? Can I trust you? And, it just kind of got, it became a very real thing to the pastor at this Catholic church that, you know what, we need to emphasize the ability that sport has to teach these types of life lessons. And now Oscar and I are heading back in just a month and a half to go back there with 12 Notre Dame students, including 10 student athletes, to share that message that, Play Like a Champion today isn't about walking out onto the field and winning a football game. It's about walking out into any moment of your life and realizing your absolute full potential at whatever it is that you're doing. And I want to thank you for that inspiration that you've provided to countless Notre Dame athletes, but even beyond that, people that get the big picture of what Play Like a Champion today really means.
Well, thank you. I went to Notre Dame. First thing I did, I went back through and I wanted to look at all the history of Notre Dame. And I go to the library, I get all the books, and in one of the books, there's a picture of a sign, Play Like a Champion today. And it's an old book, and I asked, what about that sign? Nobody ever knew anything about it. And I said, well, that's really what Notre Dame's all about. We're going to get that sign printed up. And the lady printed it up and got it patented, I might add, made a lot of money off of it. But, that is how that sign came about. Now, I put it back up, but I wasn't the original. Rockney or somebody many years ago put it up. But I'm happy that good Lord led me to the library and led me to that book and the impact it's had on so many people. And when you talk, I also say now, live like a champion today. Playing like a champion, but let's live like one also.
Yeah, you know what's funny, Coach Holtz, you mentioned how somebody patented that. What's funny about it is Packy Kelly has gone on and helped us finance all these women in East Africa who have this women's group, a bunch of AIDS widows, and they are weaving Play Like a Champion today mats out of banana fibers. So there's women that are making a living off of now making those mats and selling them to Notre Dame sports fans that wanna obviously celebrate the tradition of what that sign means and represents, but at the same time advance the common good. And it's one of those kind of nowhere else but Notre Dame moments that we've been able to capture. So yeah, thank you for that.
Well, I just enjoyed being at Notre Dame. It's a special place. With people ask me what makes it special, I say, if you've been part of it, no explanation's necessary. If you haven't, no explanation will suffice.
Yeah.
Well, I think, Coach, the biggest thing about what makes Notre Dame are the people like yourself and like Kevin Dugan. I was fortunate enough last year to go to Haiti on behalf of the Luz Lad, and it changed my life. And I was fortunate enough to, through Oscar, and have a chance to sit down with Kevin, and you saw a young man with purpose in life. And I always reflected on one of the things you used to tell us quite often, that if something happened one day and you were not here, would people miss you, and why? And I look at my life every day like that, because I want to make sure that I'm affecting someone in the right way, like you did to my life, like Oscar has as well in my life, like Kevin has in my life. And watching Kevin and with his mission in Uganda has been incredible. And once I saw it, I saw pictures and things, and after coming from Haiti, I told him I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to, full-heartedly be a part of it. But unfortunately, due to the coaching realm, I won't be able to go, but my heart will certainly be there. And it's a reflection of you and Notre Dame and the people that are involved in this whole outreach and programs that are going on.
Well, Jeff, you make a great point, and I think all of us should ask our question, if I didn't show up, who would miss me and why? And the people that are being missed are those that are productive. The people that take and do absolutely nothing except bitch and moan, never contribute anything, they would not be missed if they didn't show up.
Yes.
There's always the productive people that are helping other people that are the ones that are missed. And that's a great aspiration for all of us to live, whether it be at home, at work, or in life in general.
Coach, I have to say this one thing. Coming from a really small town of 3 stoplights when you recruited me in 1989, come out of Florida, to have the opportunity to come to Notre Dame and play for you and play for such a prestigious university was an absolute joy and an honor. And I can honestly say this. I listened to you say this for 4 years, that you don't really appreciate it until you're no longer there. I would listen to you say that.
I told you, I said, you have no idea of the impact Notre Dame has until you leave here. Then you're going to understand what a special place this is, and I believe that in the bottom of my heart. I also used to tell you that I traveled all over the world, made thousands of dollars speaking, and I would speak to the football team for free. You didn't take a doggone note.
Not one.
You guys would just sit there and act like you're bored. That's right. Everywhere else, people got notes. I said, my gosh.
We didn't get it. It went over our heads.
We regret it.
And we look back, and again, it's a part of the conversation I had with Jeff last year. It's like, we were 19 and 20 and 21 years old. We didn't get it. But, not only did we have a great football coach, we had a great life coach. We had a mentor. We had a father figure. We had someone who has given us these tidbits that we could draw from later as fathers and husbands and leaders in the community and people who are doing outreach in Haiti and Uganda and living to stand for something more than just ourselves. long after the football days are over, long after your professional football career is over, your collegiate career is over, those are the things that make my experience and Jeff's experience and Kevin's experience at Notre Dame special, because you were a part of that. And when I say I sound like you, Coach, I'm telling you right now, the one thing that I've adopted is the I can't. When you say I can't. I remember that like it was yesterday. And I think it was past 525 Erie that I was running, and I just never could get that route right. And I remember you saying to me, son, I can't. I said that last year one time. Coach, I think I said about 20 I can'ts. I was on the field. Everybody on the whole field, including the other coaches, stopped and looked at me because my tight end couldn't run a banana route the right way.
I never felt I coached football. I really did feel I coached life. The same qualities that I felt that you needed to be a good football player, you needed to be a good person as well. But somebody said, what was the biggest difference with the Notre Dame football players than other places? I said, the biggest difference at Notre Dame, when I gave them a questionnaire, I had to get out a dictionary when I read them. I didn't even know what they were. I thought, my goodness.
Well, Coach, you appreciate this. We talk quite often. I call Oscar and I call Agent Jarrell. We're calling one another and we're like, hey, you remember what Coach used to say about this particular event in life? You still have that written down? So we call each other reflecting on what you taught us, although we didn't write them all down.
No, I tell you what, I just loved the players, and I look back and I have as many memories as y'all do. I want to tell you, the amazing thing, I learned so much from football players as well. You learn how different people react, etc. One of the great things is to see people enjoy success because they worked at it. And the one thing I have learned in coaching, the people that you gave an opportunity without them earning it never really appreciated it. It was the people that had to work hard in order to achieve success and overcome milestones and get up off the ground. That's what life's all about. And you can succeed when no one believes in you. But you have no chance to succeed if you don't believe in yourself. And I think part of the coach is getting athletes to believe in themselves of how good they can be.
You definitely did that, Coach, and you made us believe in each other.
Yeah.
When you said don't flinch, a part of how we win, that last point, don't flinch.
Don't flinch. You always have to believe you're going to win. And that plan of how we'd win, we put up on the board, toughness, fundamentals, etc. But, it's not complicated in how we do things. But it's just been a fun ride. And so many things that started at Notre Dame is crazy. The team mass at Our Lady's Chapel, that happened in 1988 because they wouldn't let me have our team mass where we normally did in Dillon. And so I went to Father Jenke and said, can we have the team mass at Our Lady's Chapel? He said, I don't think so, Coach. And I said, well, golly, Ned's, I just need it 1 week. He said, but we have church open. People come. I said, that's fine. They don't come back behind Our Lady's Chapel anyway. And then we walked out there and went to the stadium, and that's where we had our team at. And that's where the people start lining the lines. Now you have thousands that go. And how'd that happen? Because Father Jenke allowed us to have it happen against Michigan in '88 and every game since then.
Wow. Didn't know that one.
Thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many things that happen because God saw. As Skip always says, if you want to make God laugh, you tell him what your plans are.
I like that.
Well,
Coach Holtz, I wanted to step in and, Coach Holtz, you had promised us 15 minutes, and you've given us almost 40 now. You've been absolutely unbelievable. This whole thing is actually amazing. So I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for coming on, but I'll let you go. I know how valuable your time is, and we worked hard to get you on. So I wanted to thank you so much. And I mean, I can't even describe. You gave me that special moment when I was 6 years old and changed my life forever. So it meant a lot to, I know, myself and everyone here that you were able to come on today.
Well, I appreciate it, but I want to tell you something. I don't have any less time in the day than you do. I think we both have 24 hours. But it was just great to talk to you, but it's also very special to talk to one of the great people, Jeff Burris, one of my favorite people in Oscar McBride. And anytime I have a chance to talk to former players, I was with Tim Grunhart and Tom Freeman and Dave Butler had played a little bit earlier than you all, and it's always fun to reminisce, and I just want the players to know this, Oscar and Jeff, whatever you need, all you got to do is call. You know that.
Yes, sir, Coach. Thank you so much,
Thank
Coach.
you so much, Coach.
You take care, and thank you for having me, and live like a champion today.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.